Hello there in Rio.
Hello, Brian.
Now, just looking at the results, how did Australia go?
Well, can I just say, Brian, this is not a reflection on the people involved. They've done their very, very best here. And look, this is not a crisis.
But I think it'll do until one comes along. Well, I mean, the shock of that first hockey result.
Oh, terrible.
And then the second hockey result.
Well, look, I think some of the older members of the team, Brian, maybe should be thinking about standing down.
Who are we talking about here?
Well, maybe Erica Betts, Brian, for example, the synchronised swimmer.
Who was he with in the synchronised swimming?
He wasn't with anyone else, Brian. He was in the solo event.
What, solo synchronised swimming?
Yeah, apparently he's brilliant at it.
How'd he go?
Well, they fished him out of the pool, Brian, but it wasn't attractive and he'll be terribly disappointed in his performance. David Feeney's another one.
In the dressage?
That's right. I think if they can't make a contribution anymore, maybe
they should step aside.
Maybe step aside, let some young blood come through.
Now, did the Australian supporters enjoy this, do you think?
Well, a lot of the Australian supporters were robbed, of course, Brian, at night down along the beach.
Do they know by whom?
Well, apparently police are looking for a short, very angry man with glasses, and they think the other one might have been Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And Australia had such expectations
Huge
going into this, didn't
I think
it, really?
That might have been part of the problem, Brian.
After so much disappointment in the
recent
years.
But it didn't go well right from the start, really.
Oh, well, look at Turnbull.
Yeah, case in point. I mean, Turnbull came in here in the form of his life.
Although he did have a niggle in the scullions,
Well, he had an inflamed Barnaby since the Nationals, Brian, but he's very confident. He certainly came in here as favourite.
In which event?
Well, that was the issue, Brian. I mean, he came into the main stadium last night with a microphone and a loudspeaker, and he said, look, I'll take questions later, but I'm happy to discuss anything. I will discuss anything.
What was the problem?
Well, he'd misread the name of the event.
What was it?
It was the discus.
Oh, dear. Not a good start,
Terrible.
Was it? How did Chrissy Pine go?
In the show jumping, he didn't get through either. He had a couple of refusals, unfortunately.
Now, I know the swimming's finished, but I watched a bit of Julie Bishop's races.
Oh, what a shame that was. She'll be terribly disappointed.
Poor start and terrible turns.
And so many of them, Brian. I've never seen so many turns.
It is pretty basic stuff,
It
really,
is basic stuff.
So where does Australia go from here? I mean, this cost an awful lot of money.
Well, we've obviously got to look at all sorts of aspects. We've got to look at recruiting. We've got to look at coaching. We've certainly got to look at funding.
What's the problem with funding?
Well, all the people we mentioned so far, Brian, have been funded by the public.
That's not good.
The position could hardly be more serious, Brian. It's a bloody disaster.